Bullitt. Peter Yates' 1968 police thriller starring Steve McQueen is of course famous for featuring one of the most iconic car chases in movie history, which set the standard for all such sequences that followed. But it's not all about the action. Bullitt is also noted for the procedural accuracy of police and other emergency personnel activity, which gives the film an occasionally almost documentary feel. This is something McQueen insisted upon, as he knew that modern audiences were growing more sophisticated and would appreciate a more realistic approach than they had been accustomed to. And that's what I want to talk about, how Bullitt is a film that respects its audience. Rather than every thought being explicitly stated by a character, Yates relies on visuals and situation to convey to the audience what they are intended to understand. The movie excels at delivering subtext in the way films are meant to, primarily visually, and also by means of dialogue that is laden with unstated significance. In this scene, Bullitt is summoned to a meeting with Senator Chalmers at his home. As our protagonist arrives, he is immediately out of his element. The senator is hosting some kind of society event for upper-crust ladies. Emphasis is placed on finery, the silver tea service, the ladies' jewelries and fur. When Bullitt enters the scene, the legs of guests in the foreground serve to dwarf his figure in the doorway. He finds himself in the way, and the dialogue of the ladies is overlapped and obscured, out of his sphere. Everything suggests the core idea: he does not belong. He does not matter. The senator, by contrast, is introduced dominating the screen, the center of attention. His back is to Bullitt, again emphasizing his insignificance. And when told of his presence, the senator does not prioritize him, but finishes his anecdote. Detective Bullitt seems to get it. He was brought here to be reminded of his place in the scheme of things. The senator needs something from him, but at the same time wants to impress upon him that he is not important. He gets it, but he is unimpressed, and when the senator finally deigns to greet him, they are on equal footing.
Thanks for coming over. Name is Frank, isn't it? That's right. Please call me Walter.
As they move outside, the manipulation continues, as the expressed dialogue implies an undercurrent of control and domination. The senator at once offers Bullitt the carrot of an important job, and the whip of mentioning that his superior officer suggests he take it. Chalmers is ambitious, and intends to use a state's evidence witness against organized crime to spotlight his tough stance on justice. He sits, giving Bullitt a visual place of dominance in the framing. The senator is the one that needs something, and it turns out that Bullitt is not so insignificant after all.
Why San Francisco?
Ross is safer here. That's your province.
But he again flatters and again manipulates, saying that he's the man for the job, and it would be a pleasure to have you along. What he implies would be a career-boosting situation for all involved.
So now that you know where my house is, Lieutenant, I hope that we'll get to see a lot more of each other. Particularly in view of the investigation. A senatorial hearing has a way of catapulting everyone involved into the public eye, with subsequent effect on one's career.
When Chalmers' little display ends, he again turns his back, dismissively heading back to his world of privilege. It's clear that these events are of peripheral importance to a man mostly concerned with status and image. And when Bullitt's partner Del Geddes wants to know what it was all about, Bullitt gives him a wry and ironic response.
What was that all about? Pals.
By establishing through visuals the master-servant relationship that Chalmers wants to impress upon Bullitt, and following it with dialogue that reveals a manipulative man who despises the person he needs the most, Yates sets the groundwork for the relationship between these two characters that will dominate the rest of the story.